That's okay. So for every, my dear friends, for every presentation file, whether it is in PPT form or it is in PDF form, no matter, we should prepare some data. So uh, you are you are the students of Tehran Azad University Research and Science and Research branch. Yeah, my dear friends. So an emblem is there for you. An emblem is there for you. Good afternoon. So at the top of the front page, we call this first page front page, my dears, front page. On your front page, you should put, first of all, the emblem of Azad University, and then your own university, I mean science and research branch, okay? The emblem of Azad University and your own university must be at the top of your front page, because whoever is going to listen to you would like to know about this information. Who are you? Who is your professor? Where is your university? Where is your faculty? Where is your department? Okay, then you should talk about, first of all, write about these things. For example, here, because I am not the student, that is why I haven't prepared it in that way. But on front page, my dears, as I told you, you should put the emblem of the Azad University and Science and Branch, Science and Research branch of the Azad University in Tehran. Then you should write that, yeah, for example, if it is your thesis submitted for the fulfillment of the MA cases in on English literature and these things must be mentioned there. Then here I mentioned a presentation prepared for the class European literature because I have prepared it in a spatial for a spatial class. I mean for European literature. Then I should be mentioned because the spectator, the listener, the reader would like to know just about the subject also. This presentation is about what? What is the area of the presentation? So it's okay to mention on the front page about this case, a presentation prepared for the class European literature, a presentation prepared for the class seminar, okay, a presentation for the class 17th and 18th century literature. So you should mention this here because you would like to give exact information for the spectators, for the beholders, for the readers, for the referees, for the supervisors, for all students, and even common people which are there. So the next thing is the title. Title, you should mention that. Many times, my dears, I have told you, do not use the words like address for this case. Still, you are using. Still, I got some messages from my students saying that, Doctor, this is my address. This is my address. No, this is not your address. Address in English means that where do you live? The name of your street, the name of your alley, the number of your home, okay? This is the address. Do not use the word address for the academic research, okay? That is title or topic. Title or topic. But when it comes for the academic research, it's okay to say just title because that is the common word which is used for the academic studies, papers, articles, theses, and dissertation. It's okay to say title. So at the top, title must be there. Immediately after title, you should write your title. The title is important, how to write it, okay? How to write it. And this is presentation. If, for example, today I am going to talk about Metamorphosis by Kafka, but uh, putting just the name of Metamorphosis there is not enough because that is the name of the work. Okay, so what would we are going to do about metamorphosis? You should add something. Here I mentioned a critical study of the Kafka's metamorphosis. Okay, so in this way you should prepare something. Even when you are going to talk about a novel, a drama, a short story, some collection of poetry, then you should just mention something. From which point of view? As I told you in seminar class about the titles, then the title must be there like that. So, so if it is the thesis case, front page of the thesis, after the title, you should put the name of the professor. But mostly I saw you use the word advisor. Advisor. No, do not use the word advisor. You should use the word supervisor there instead of advisor. Already, yes, we had two professors for any MA case, I mean MA thesis, and for PhD dissertation, still we have a supervisor must be there, and also an advisor also must be there for the dissertation. But for the MA cases, MA thesis also, there is no need to mention advisor because the university says that just supervisor is enough. But when they say that you should get advisor also, then the name of advisor you can bring there. But here, for your thesis case, as you need just a supervisor, you should mention that supervisor. Then you should put the name of the supervisor. But in what way you should write your names? My dears, in English, it is common to bring first the surname, okay? The surname, the last name must be there first. As you see, my name is Ali. My first name is Ali, and my surname is Aryan, okay? But due to the rules of English language and culture, first of all, we should mention Aryan on the title, okay? Aryan, then Ali. Then above the titles of the people, you can mention something like PhD or doctor. But if you would like to use doctor, you should bring it at the beginning, and after the R, you should put a full stop. Then you can continue. Dr. Aryan. And just remember, in English, after the titles, you cannot use first name. All of you, I mean, mostly Iraqi students, for me, whenever they are sending message to me, they write Dr. Ali, Dr. Ali, Dr. You cannot say Dr. Ali. You should say simply my name, Ali, or you should say Dr. Aryan. That is correct in English. You cannot say title, first names with titles. I mean, you cannot say Dr. Rasha, Dr. Zahra, Dr. Milad, okay? You should use after doctor the surname of the people. This is the case in English. So here, presenter, I mean, here I am going to present something for my friends. Then that is why I have used presenter word. But also, if you are going to present something, you can use this word, presenter, okay? Or prepare it by. You can use this one also. So the time of the presentation also it's okay to mention there because thereafter maybe you are going to memorize or reminisce something about these cases. And on that case, it's okay to know the time of your presentation also, spring 2022, for example. But about the choosing of the background for your presentation case, it depends on you. Colors are very important, my dears. Colors are very important. The what we say, um, the name of the material which you are going to use must be in this way. For example, a critical. In the title, remember, my dears, whatever you are going to write as a title, then the initiating letters of the words must be in capital, except prepositions and connectors. And also, you see here, metamorphosis I have mentioned, um, it is in italic form. Italic form. Why? Because this is the name of the novel. This is whenever something is the title is the name of a novel, drama. It should or collection of poetry. It should be in italic form. But for example, one of you would like to talk about a poem by any poet. The title of the poem should not be italic. The title of the short story should not be italic, okay? You should put them between the commas, full commas, I mean, okay? So, but still the initiating letters of the title of short story, the title of the poem also must be like this. I mean, the letters must be in capital, except prepositions and connectors. So about colors also, background colors also, or animations and these things, it depends on you, and it is better for you to try to put some correspondence between your presentation, your title, and the colors and animations which you are going to use for your title. Okay? Because it would give some precious and valuable cases for your presentation, and it would attract the referees, the supervisor, and the students, and all others also. So it depends on you to decide which colors are you going to use and which animations are you going to use. It depends on you, but in my own idea, it's okay for you to just think about the colors. What color, for example, is okay for this presentation, which is about nature, okay? Which is about nature, which is about psychological problems, which is about political problems, which is about economic problem. So it's okay to choose some or select some colors, some backgrounds, some animations uh, which has some related issues with the titles which you are going to present in any occasion. So the other case after the front page, as I told you, my dear friends, is important. You should take care of them. Then for the presentation case, you need just to mention the titles or subtitles. Sometimes I see whenever you are preparing presentation files, for example, author's biography, then many texts are there in your file, and you are going to read just those texts. No, this is not the way. Author's biography, okay? About author's biography, remember, you cannot talk about everything which happened for the author, okay, or the writer. You should talk about those issues which are related to the title, okay. For morphosis, here metamorphosis is there, okay, metamorphosis. What reasons what reasons lead Kafka to write Metamorphosis? What similar what similar characteristics are there between the protagonist or main character or hero of the Metamorphosis and the writer Kafka also? You should talk about these issues. There is no need to say that, yes, Kafka got married to Elizabeth, this and that, and again they left each other, and he went to get another girl named this. He moved from this city to that city. These are not necessary to bring them in your presentation. Okay, you from the author's biography, author's life, you should select those issues which are related to your title. As I mentioned here, what reasons were there which caused Kafka to write this work, I mean Metamorphosis? You can mention that thing, okay? Uh, and about extra cases of life, we do not need. He studied in this university, he went to that school. These are not necessary. These are not necessary in the metamorphosis case, at least. So then about author's biography, just for this case, you can bring some subtitles also. For example, the reasons which caused the author to write Metamorphosis, okay? Then you can talk about them. The theories which lead Kafka to write Metamorphosis. Okay, so these are some background from the life of author you can mention, but I have mentioned here in just one slide for you. But for you, you should have just separate files for yourself. I mean, for author's biography, a file and a slide must be there. One page must be there for author's biography. Then you can say some subtitles after author's biography here, outlining them in a correct way. This is the case. I mean that here I mentioned in one page, but for you should prepare author's biography in just one page, okay? So you can bring some subtitles for the author's biography also. So the plot summary of the Metamorphosis. You see again Metamorphosis in its italic way. Remember, you should write Metamorphosis because this is the name of the novel in italic way. Plot summary of the Metamorphosis. Um, then you should talk about the plot summary of the Metamorphosis as you wish. As you wish, what do we mean by as you wish? As you wish here means that within, it means that maybe Metamorphosis is about 200 pages, 150 pages. You should talk within 2 or 3 or at least 3 minutes about the summary of metamorphosis. Here, it depends on you. In what way are you going to summarize, to paraphrase, or whatever you would like? You should first try to mention the main incidents and just do something about the main characters, hero, protagonist, and antagonist also. Okay, so this is the way you should succinctly and briefly talk about the story, because, my dears, in all over the world, especially in English classes of literature, um, the teachers, the professors are not going to talk about the story itself. You know, this is not the way of teaching, because those professors, uh, what we say, suppose that you already have read the stories and you know the stories. That is why it is not necessary for us to talk more about the summary of the novels and dramas and short stories and whatever, because they are available already there on the internet, and everyone can go through them to read them and to understand them. So, the next case, while you are going to talk about a literary text, whether it is novel, drama, short story, novella, or poem, a close and rapid glance at the title. This is important, my dears. Why, why Kafka has chosen this word metamorphosis for his novel? You should think about it. What does it mean? What is the etymology of the word metamorphosis? Okay, what reasons were there behind of the curtain for Kafka to entitle his novel as Metamorphosis? You should think about the title, a close and rapid glance at title. Okay, so you are going to talk about the title of the literary work carefully, and it's okay for you to write something about the title before going to read the text, because you should compare yourself, understanding of yourself from the title. You should jot down and write something about the title. What do you think about it? What comes into your mind whenever you are going to see the word metamorphosis, or the title of the poem, or the title of the drama? Mention something and write something for yourselves. So, then we go to analysis of main characters. My dear friends, main characters mean protagonist of the story. On the other hand, we have the antagonist also, hero and anti-hero. These are the main characters of the story. You should talk first of all about them, but still, you are not going to talk about just their appearance, their psychological issues, their biological issues, their views, okay, their views about the society, about the rules, about the customs, their understand, their conceptions, and whatever is there. For better understanding of the characters, there are some ways. There are some ways. You can recognize the personality, the characteristics, the features of the characters through these ways, which I am going to tell you. First, from the direct speech of the writer. At the beginning of the novels or stories, mostly writers are talking about the characteristics, I mean biological characteristics, and also appearances of the characters. From those texts, you can understand, you can get some information about the characters. The other way is the words of others about the characters. For example, in your class, Inas is there, okay? About the analyzing and recognizing and distinguishing of the characteristics of Inas. Some friends are there for Inas. They are going to talk about Inas. They are going to talk about Inas. In this way, we can collect some information about the characteristics of Inas. Your parents are talking about you. Your friends are talking about you. Your relatives are talking about you. From these words of others, we can also collect some information about the characteristics of the protagonist or antagonist in the story. So this is the second way. The third way is the actions and deeds of the characters. You know, whatever they are doing in their life, they give us some hints, some information also about their characteristics, their treatment, the way of treatment, the way of what we say, life, the style of them, then their way of clothing, uh, and whatever they were talking, speaking, using sentences, using words, and these things, all of them, all of their acts and actions and deeds can give you some information also about the what we say character, protagonist, and antagonist who are there in the story. So from these ways you can collect some information, and even also from their gestures and postures, you can collect some. Even from their silence, you know, you can get some information about them. So analysis of minor characters. Some characters are there in any story who are minor, you know, not major characters, just they are minor characters. But, my dear friends, sometimes it is told that if the minor character is not there, then incidents would not be there in the story. Okay? What does it mean? It means that, for example, in the story, Ali Aryan is there. Ali is there as a professor, as a man who is living in some parts of Iran. So the protagonist of the story is Ali. But someone is there. Someone is there just once. Just once. He comes to the into the story and says that Ali, do you know what happened for your father? Someone killed him. And he goes away. This is the minor character, but still his role is very much important in the ongoing cases of the story, because those words told by that character who is not there from the beginning of the story, and just once times for some minutes he is there in the story to tell you about these cases. Okay, then he leaves the story. You cannot see him again in that story. Okay, but my dear friends, this is minor character, but still the role of his appearance in the story is very much important, because he gave some hints for Ali that someone killed your father. Then the story goes on. It means that Ali is going to find out the culprit, the murderer of his father, and many incidents and evidences and events and occurrences would be there for Ali in this story up to the ending of the story. So you should talk about such minor characters whose rules are very important in the story. You should mention the name of them, you should talk about them, you should talk about their characteristics, as I mentioned, and especially the roles. I mean, the important roles which such characters are playing in the same story, my dears. So, literary devices, these are important. These are important in poetry, it is important in drama, it is important. Just remember, my dears, without literary devices, we cannot have literary text. Without literary devices, we cannot have literary text. It would be just chemistry text, physical text, okay? Then for literature, literary device must be there. Literary device, figures of speech must be there. So literary device must be there. So you should recognize these things. You should recognize these things through the text, and you should talk about it for us. Symbols, for example, metaphors, exaggerations, hyperbole, and so on. Okay, so such things, allegories, نمیدونم pun, and these things which are called literary devices, you should talk about them. What are the symbols of this story? What are the metaphors of this story? What are the puns of this story? What are the exaggerations of this story? Okay, you should mention those things, and also you should explain the role of symbols there in the story, the role of metaphors there in this story. Okay, you should explain them for us because we would like to get the core essence of the story to understand it better and better. You know, otherwise, just reading stories would not help us to get something from the stories, my dear friends. Then we are going to talk about themes. Themes, my dear friends, can be other names for the other titles for the story. Remember this, themes. Themes can be other titles for the story, okay? Then you are going to talk about that themes, which are very much important. Some teams are hidden teams there in polite teams. After reading the story, you should find out that hidden teams. But some teams also are mentioned by the author, by the writer there, then it is easy to recognize them. But some themes are not there directly in the text. Then you should think about them. After reading text, you should challenge to find out, to figure out, to find out, to recite those themes which are hidden in the text. So, the other case, my dears, which is important again, is related theories. Some theories have been mentioned in the story, okay? You should recognize those theories, I mean, approaches I mentioned for you in the seminar class. You should find out metamorphosis, for example, some psychological theories are there. Some psychoanalytical problems are there. Some, what we say, physical problems are there. Some metaphysical problems are there. Some mystical problems are there. Some humanity problems are there, you know. Dehumanization is there. Transformation is there, you know. So these are some theories which are involved by the author in the text, in the story. Then you should find out them, and then you should talk about them also. Then, my dears, we come to didacticism. This one is very much important from my own point of view. What do we mean by didacticism is the moral moral message of the story. Moral message. What we can get from the story of metamorphosis to use it in our own lifetime, to make our life better and better. Some points are there in this story and in all stories of the world, movies, dramas, novels, short stories, poems, and even essays and articles. All of them, they have some messages for us, some messages for us. What kind of messages? To improve our personality, our career in the real life. Then, what is the need of reading Metamorphosis for us? We are going just to waste our time for that. So we are going, it is okay for wasting of time to go to mountain, to go to the bank of the river, to go with friends to the park. So these are good ways for wasting of time. But here we read a novel, we read a short story, we read a poem, my dears, to collect something from it and then to use them in our real life. Why? To improve our lives, to improve our lives, to fulfill our lives, to have meaningful life. Otherwise, every day we are going to be what we say, continue whatever is there in the early morning. We are get up, then breakfast is there for us. Then we are going to our offices, to our universities, to our schools, and we are doing the same thing every day. Then lunchtime is there for us. Then again we are going to start our job and these things. Then night also dinner is there for us. Then again we are going to sleep, playing with our mobiles and maybe watching some TV programs and these things. Then these are the usual things which are there. But here we would like just to improve our lives, to change some rights, to change some customs, to change some beliefs of us. This is the case. This is the case. So didacticism means the moral message which is there in the story. You should get it. You should talk about it for us. Okay? And also you should use it in your own life. That is important. That is important. In that case, you will see the innovation of your life, changes of your life, uh, what we say, beauties of your life. Suggestions for further studies. This is a good way of your presentation also. Suppose that on metamorphosis, you have talked about some things. But here you can suggest for the listeners, for the students, for the what we say spectators, they can do some investigations, some surveys on some other theories, which maybe can become close to the metamorphosis also. Because of the shortage of time, I couldn't study metamorphosis, for example, from psychological point of view or from economic point of view. And my dear students, my dear friends, my dear professors, my dear colleagues, my dear relatives, you can go on metamorphosis from political issues also. You can study political issues of metamorphosis, which are there among this. Especially this metamorphosis is about Marxism, okay? Uh, the Marxist theory can be taken as a theory, as an approach to study this case, because mostly in metamorphosis, Kafka would like to say that still you are going to collect money as a father at home, as a mother at home, as a friend, you are okay and you are a good one. But whenever you are going to lose your safety, your health, and then you cannot collect money, in that case, you are going to be effigy there. No one is going to take care of you. Just they will say that, what is the use of you? Die, please. Go away because you cannot collect money. They say that money is honey. And wherever money is not there from you, they would leave you. They want you to die as soon as possible. So this is the case. Then, as I mentioned, Marxism or capitalism is one of the theories which we can use here for the metamorphosis case. Then it's okay, as I mentioned, my dear friends, as I mentioned for you, then it's okay for you just to suggest some new ways of studying metamorphosis. It means that you are so knowledgeable person. Though you have studied the metamorphosis from many different and various aspects and cases, still you know that some other cases also are there. It means that you are so knowledgeable person. The people would be honor of you, would be proud of you because they are going to think that, oh my God, she knows many theories. He knows many issues of the literature. That is why he mentioned some further suggestions for me. So these are the cases, my dear friends. A good and smart and intelligent student of literature, while she or he is going to talk about anything of literature, it's okay to prepare any file in this way. But as I mentioned, these are just titles. You can add some subtitles for these cases also as you wish, okay? Uh, then after this, the last page, my dear friends, must be the page of the appreciation. Uh, the best way of humanity is this one. We should do appreciate everything, my dear friends, everything. Even as Imam Hussein did it in Karbala on the day of Ashura, he said that Ilahi, Ilahi, Rizam biqaza'ik. He got many problems from the enemies, but still he decided to thank God about such problems, about such catastrophes, about such calamities he faced there in Karbala on the day of Ashura, Great thank. But here, because, my dears, those friends, those students, those professors, they are managed to come to your session. They are managed to come to your Viva session. They are managed to participate in your class. Okay, then they did their best for you. They gathered there. They didn't leave you alone. Okay, so you should respect them. At the end of the session, it's okay to thank all those who are there, all those who are not there also. And finally, I would like to thank God, first of all, who gave me this opportunity to be here in this presentation with my lovely friends, with my lovely students, with my lovely professors. Okay? Then I would like to thank my parents who gave me this opportunity to study in this university. They afford me financially. Okay? So it's okay. It's okay to thank. That is the best characteristic of human being. to be thankful of everything, even the bad things, even the bad things, because just God knows what is going to happen for us. Then it's okay just to be thankful of everything. Here I mentioned great thank to ears of self growth. I mean your ears, which you lend to me for this presentation. These are not your ears, but the ears of self growth. What does it mean? It means that you gathered they to get some information, to get some new information, to improve your personality, to enhance your knowledge, to enhance your knowledge. So these are the your ears are the ears of self growth, self realization, self knowing, self knowing. This is the best way of life because, as I mentioned, Imam Ali also said, "Man arafa nafsah, faqad arafa rabbah." Okay, if you try to know yourself better, then you will know your God much better also. So, my dear friends, hope you could get something about the way of presenting your cases about novels, about dramas, about poems, about short stories, and any other literary texts which you are going to give presentation, especially whenever, inshallah, you are going to give some lectures on international conferences in all over the world. In that cases, everything would be academic, everything would be literary, everything would be informative, everything would happen in its beautiful way, okay? In its beautiful way. Then you can be a famous one. Then you can be a good lecturer. You can be a good professor. You can be a good writer. You can be a good dramatist. You can be a good poet also. Inshallah. So now,
I'm sorry
stay
for
tuned.
interrupting.
If you need any question, any information, any idea, I welcome you, please.
Sorry, do you hear me, sir?
Let me just see who is talking to me. Uh, yeah, talk please. Let me
Sir,
recognize
you hear
who is
me?
talking.
Barak,
Yeah, Barek, come on. Come on, Barek.
I'm really
Yes,
sorry
come on.
for
Yeah,
interrupting.
please, come on. Yeah,
I'm supposed to present with Miss Hadir this lecture about Kafka. So if we have time to present it, or we just you look to
yeah,
the way that I
let us
presented.
see the time. Time is still we have half an hour time.
So
Yes,
can we
yes.
share it? Can
We have.
yes,
Yeah,
sure.
please. You can right now. You can upload your file here. Uh, you can upload in done system also, Barek.
I will use Google Meet. It's easier for me, I think.
Yeah, because I'm going to allow you to add. Or here also you can add it. Okay,
I will use it Google Meet. It's better for us.
that's okay. That's okay. Do it. Do it for us. But today Hodair is going to talk. Yes.
Yes, sir. I hold that.
No, I mean that today Hodair is going to talk for us to give lecture.
Yes,
Yes.
Hadir. Hadir. Her name is Hadir.
Hadir, yeah, Hodair, no, Hadir, Hadir. She told me it is a little bit difference between Haydar and Hadir. Yeah, Hadir.
Okay, let's sharing. I
Yeah,
think
please
this.
share it.
Yeah, it's good now, I think. Yes. So can everyone see it?
Yeah, Islamic Azad University Science and Research, a critical study. Is still, the S of study is not in capital.
Yes. Yes, yes. S- but it's better than before, I guess.
It takes time. It takes time. Don't
Yes,
worry.
take
It
time. Good,
takes
yes.
time.
I think it's better now. I was checking
No matter,
your
no
details.
matter, no matter. It happens. But it's
Okay.
still, it's okay. Islamic Azad University, Science and Branch, sorry, Science and Research
Research.
Branch. Okay. Branch.
Yes.
You should mention branch also there.
Okay.
By Franz Kafka, submitted to Aryan Ali PhD. Now it's okay. Everything is okay. By Barek and and
And yes.
Barek and Hadir. Okay.
Yes.
This is okay. Yeah, let us go to the titles or topics. Franz Kafka's biography, Franz Kafka's philosophy. The metamorphosis must be in italic
Italic.
form again.
Yeah.
Yeah. The plot summary. Uh, do not use apostrophe s for the words. Okay, like this.
Okay.
Plot summary. Instead, plot summary is enough. There is no need to use apostrophes. Plot summary.
Not
Plot
some. Yes, yes.
summary. Do not, yeah, use like that. Do not write like characters. As I mentioned, Barik.
Major and
Uh,
minor.
major characters, minor characters, or you can
Characters.
easily say the analysis of the characters. And
Good. Themes is okay.
and teams are there, then analysis. There is no need to use word analysis,
Okay.
okay? Because whenever you are going to talk about these titles, it
You're
means
gonna
that you
analyze.
analyze all of them. So
Yes.
no need to write their analyzes, okay?
Good. Yes.
But still you can use it, for example, the analysis
Further
of the
question.
characters, the analysis of the text, the analysis of the title. So for in this case you can use, but
Good.
do not use analysis just
The section
as
by
a
itself.
word there. Okay, we do not need
Yes. Yes.
for that.
Okay.
Okay, go on, please. Stage is
Okay.
yours.
So thank you. So before we start our lecture today, I want to, there's too many questions that I ask myself, and maybe that's when someone hears it, you say, "Oh, it's you are out of mind. It's kind of insanity and something like that." But one of the most questions that I come my mind, I always ask my student, of course, not in school, but when I have in language teaching language English in courses, I ask my question this question. So, if you wake up one day and you find yourself a bird without legs, what would you do? If we wake up one day and we find ourselves as a bird but without legs, what would you do? What would you feel? How would you feel? Of course,
Yeah.
there's two kind of answers. Some of us say yes, I feel happy, I would feel happy, and some feel sad. For people who say I feel happy, he will think about the wings. He said, I have a wings, and I will fly everywhere I want, to anywhere I want. I'm free. And for people who said, I would feel sad, he's not thinking about wings, he's thinking about legs. I have no legs, so how can I live? He forget that he has wings, but he focus on the missing things with it, which is legs. There's no
Uh,
yes. So for me, I go to the second part, which is I feel sad. I mean, sometimes we focus on fake things that people, that society raised us about is on it. Like, for example, happiness. Happiness is when you have money, when you have big houses, very luxury cars, when you are free. But in the time that we get these things, we still feel that we are missing something. We still feel that we are not happy yet. I have money, I'm free, I have wings, but I feel no happiness at all. So, so when we think in a different way, we will find a different aspect of life. The same question, I'm sure that this question you cannot now answer. You just need few minutes or maybe a day or a night to think about it. So you wake up, you found yourself a bird without legs. Would I feel happy because I have now have a wings? Or would I feel sad because I will feel tired of traveling all around the world, but I cannot stand on a branch of tree. I cannot stand, I could not relax, I could not have a rest for I shut on for a sleep night. You have no legs. How can you have a rest? So different aspects in life, it's gonna be there when we let our imagination be set free. And this is what's really I like about literature. It's just let your imagination, it's make things of nothing. I mean, if we wake up one day and we found ourselves dead, but we still live a normal life, but no one sees us, would you feel? Would you feel happy because all the pain, all the suffering, all the things that takes your mind now fade away? Or would you feel sad because the one that you love, but you didn't express your feeling toward them, you can't do it now? Would you feel sad because all the chances that you had, you never used them? Or you would feel happy because now no one see it, no one can critique you, no one can bother you. So a lot of things, maybe it's out of insanity, it's like a crazy questions, but we need to think about it. Maybe it's not gonna happen, but what if happen? How would we feel? And today works Metamorphosis for Franz Kafka. It's can kind of given an answers or a way to think about these things if happen. Because in this work, the main character wake one day and find himself as insect, as a vermin, as a bug, as a metamorphosis. So he turned into an animal between a day and a night. Boom! He lose his humanity body, change into an insect. So what would we feel if we wake up one day and we find ourselves as that? We find ourselves as spiders climbing to the walls, looking to people. Would we feel happy or would we feel sad? So the genius, the famous, the great, I call him Kafka, the great, the one who wrote this work. And I think Miss Hadir is gonna now introduce him to us about his life and his philosophy. Miss Hadir, if you hear me, the stage is yours.
Yes. Good
Yes, please,
afternoon,
Miss
Doctor.
Hadir.
Franz Kafka, born in July 1883, Praha, Bohemia, Republic
Adir,
in... Yes,
Adir, is this you?
yes.
Okay. But you didn't say Assalamu alaikum. You should have salutation
I
with
say
your
good
friends.
afternoon.
First of all, you should tell to your friends, thank you for gathering here, to lending your lovely ears for me to listen my
Sorry,
words
Doctor,
about
sorry.
consciousness. Then, Hadir, do this way, please. Yeah,
Yes.
go on, go on. I was
Uh,
joking just.
yes, okay. Franz Kafka, born in July 1883, Praha, Bohemia, into Provost middle class Jewish family. He is novelist and short story writer. He studied law at the University of Praha. Also, he worked in insurance and wrote in the evenings tragedy, the Kafka home. Kafka had a difficult relationship with both of his parents. Kafka was influenced by no one more deeply than German romantic author Henry Schwann. In August of 1917, Kafka was finally uh, diagnosed with tuberculosis. His most popular and best-selling short story, The Metamorphosis. Okay. In literature, expressionism is often considered a revolt against realism and naturalism, seeking to achieve a psychological or spiritual reality rather than record external events in logical. In the novel, the term is closely to the writing of Kafka and James. The word Kafka word is essentially, and this is why it is impossible to derive a specific philosophical or religious code from it. Even one and paradox as does much existential thought. Only the events themselves can reveal the basic absurdity of things. Expressionism is one of the literary movements frequently mentioned in connection with Kafka, possibly because its vogue in literature coincided with Kafka's mature writing between 1912 and his death in 1924. Of course, Kafka does have certain characteristics in common with expressionists, such as his critique of the Bentley technological worldview of instance. However, if we consider what the thoughts of some of the leading expressionists of his day, he certainly cannot be associated with the movement uh, of a series of illustrations by one of the most distinguished Kafka that I don't understand. To me, it merely proves the patience in our what he rejects in expressionism is the overstatement of feeling and the seeming lack. While Kafka was perhaps not the great craftsman in sense that the word absurdism refers to the conflict between the human need to find value or meaning in life and the find the chaotic and unstable universe lacks any of the value the seekers is trying to find. These two exist side or by side. The need to meaning and the lack of meaning leading to the rise of the absurd. Yes.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Now Mr. Barrett
Thank
is
you.
completing.
Luckily, we heard you also.
Thanks.
So,
She
finished?
was she was presenting in a nice atmosphere with the birds singing in the spring weather.
Lovely, lovely. That's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm at
But
school now, sorry.
oh, and you are teachers. Most of you are teachers there in Iraq, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. 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 Yes.
English teacher.
Yes.
Would you allow me to come and to be your student there?
Yes.
Yes, I will come. I will come to
Thank
your
you, Doctor.
school, sit there to hear you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah. So
Would you
since
like?
we know that Kafka has some difficulties, and I want to take longer time. So since we know that Kafka has some difficulty with his family and has some
Yeah.
tragic and sad moments in his life, would that help
Yeah.
him to create, to shape his personality and shape his thought and philosophy? And we can see that in most of his works, is talking about pessimism and absurdity, which is one of the most philosophy of Franz Kafka, is externalism and absurdity, which is, I really like it. It's
Actually.
searching about the meaning of life, it's searching about the purpose of life and how we can get a benefit, and how can we find the goal of living this life, and how life is chaos, is chaotic world, it has no sense. Sometimes we find ourselves in a moment, in situation that happen from nowhere, that make no sense, there's no logical uh, analyze interpretation to it. And this we can find with Metamorphoses, his literary work, which is published in
Yeah.
1950, and it has a lot of logic, sorry, allegorical meaning, which is symbolizing meaning of his Franca life. We read the text, if we uh, you know uh, go and study the text, you see that most of his literary works are exactly this work. It's about the biography of Franz Kafka. You can see there too much similarity between his life and about the main character Grigor in this literary work. About the style and the language of this novel, or sometimes they call it novella. It's very simple. It's very
Yeah, it
easy.
is
You can
novel,
see
actually.
novella exactly.
I,
It's a novel.
yeah,
It's
it
not
is
really novel.
exactly a novella, not novel.
Novel. Yes, exactly. It's novel. Novella.
No,
Sorry.
it is not
So
novel. It is novella. Novella.
novella. Yes,
Metamorphosis
it's
is
shorter.
as a novella, not novel. It is not complete
It's not
novel.
novel. It's novella. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it is
It's shorter
novella.
than the
Yeah,
novel. Yes, novella.
exactly.
So it's this the structure and the language he uses very simple, very easy, very and he has a sense of humor, but it's not that simple. I mean, there's a very deep meaning within it, and that's what creates Kafka's style of Kafka's philosophy. That Kafka creates a new form of structure of writing literary work. And most of this literary work, this metamorphosis, you find that he tried to set our imagination free. He tried to make us face and see some situation that you cannot see in real life. Just you have to use your imagination and imagine this situation is happening. So it's seeking, it's searching, it's looking for set our imagination free. And it's a two. It shows that how words is chaotic word. It has no sense. The situation, the events, the characters, and all these things happen with the metamorphosis. No, this novel is no sense, no logic. But this is how Kafka tried to send a deeper meaning with it. And also it shows that the conflict between the man, between human and society, and a fake moral, the fake attitude of the society, how society treat with you, but the real thing is hidden, the fake things is hidden with the society. So it's like show that you don't have to trust the society. It show you the good moral, good things, but in the reality, no, it will just let you down at the end. So let's make a plot summary, a brief summary for the plot. It's talking about the main character, Krieger, who was wake up one morning, he find himself turning into a giant insect, which is bug, but some translators say that the correct, the suitable words to translate it from a German to English was vermin. Vermin is very close to the word that he used in the original work, which is written in German. In German. So he turned into a big insect, to a big a bug. He couldn't understand what's really happened for him. But after a while, he didn't care about his physical change transformer. He just started to think about his work. How can he now go to work and help his family? And his family tried to knock at the door, tried to know what's really going on in his room. He couldn't open the door. The manager of his work came and said, hey, if you're not coming today, you're gonna fire, because your situation in the company is not good, is not good enough. Gregor tried to defend himself, tried to explain what's really going on, but his voice changed because he changed it from he went to animals. So everything in his physical change has changed already. But his inside, his spiritual, his mind, he felt still as a human. At the end, after trying, at the end, he could open the door, but when his family look at him, they frightened. They feel afraid of the situation. Of course, when your brother, your sister turned into an animal, and one morning you just want him to go to work, and you find him turned into a bird without legs, and turned into an animal, turned into insect. How do you feel? Of course, you will feel afraid, scared, or frightened, panic. So his mother fainted away, lost her conscious, and it was something disaster for them. He afraid too. He ran. He hide himself under the bed. His family thinking about him, what's really going on. After a while, they tried, especially his sister. His sister was very close to him. He worked and he tried to pay for her violence lesson. She's like a musician and take private lesson. He worked and he pay. He give him money for her